baby daddy. Ew. Come through, Facebook Live. Yes, that is my baby daddy playing in the background. What y'all thought?
Turn right to...
Okay, that was it, y'all. So, that was my other baby daddy, ex-husband, or the radio. And I celebrate him. What you thought? I celebrate him and his music and his artistry. He does what the fuck he do. That's right, Reese. Hey, cousin. Family first, honey. Family first. And you know that special rule about fair. I can say what the fuck I want to say about him because he's my family. You ain't got shit to say. I'm going to cuss your ass out. How about that? That ain't your motherfucking family. That ain't your husband. That ain't your baby daddy. So, you know how that is. Somebody can be talking crazy at the family barbecue. People could act a goddamn fool at a funeral. Let somebody say something crazy about your brother at school. You try to rip their goddamn head off. Now, you might have called your brother the dumbest motherfucker to walk the face of the earth. Let somebody call your brother or sister that, and you will try to kill them. That's just family law. That's family love 101. Respect the boundaries. I don't give a fuck how you feel about it. Don't talk about my family. And it don't matter. You be like, oh, well, you said he wasn't no good. Well, goddamn it, I got the right to say he wasn't no good. In my family, I can say that. Because I also know how good he is. I also know how great he or she is. See, the problem with people that want to talk shit, they don't ever want to talk about the good. They want to harp on the negative. They only want to talk about the bad. But you know, when family come through, honey, because you know when Lil Ray Ray be in jail, them mamas and grandmamas and aunties and them, they don't give no fuck what he went to jail for. They still gonna be like, well, in 8th grade, he got straight A's.
Desert reported.
You're gonna find something positive about your family when other people won't. That's just law. So don't act like I'm coming up with something new saying nothing crazy. That's what we do. That's how family is. And that's it. But that's family hood law, yes. Let me break it down for y'all. Peep game, open your ear hole. Here we go. Because you can have that crackhead uncle that done stole VCRs, DVDs, Cabbage Patch Kids, EBT cards, and the whole family know he a goddamn crackhead. But let somebody come over your house and like, that's why your stupid ass crackhead uncle, baby, let the motherfucking games begin. Hood Olympics. And the first game is knock a head off. Yes. We don't play those games. And that's because at the end of the day, we can still reflect on when he wasn't a crackhead, when he was that good that fixed cars, could turn a garbage can into a barbecue grill, when he was the funny one that no matter what was going on in the family, he would come through with that smile bright as the sunshine and cheer everybody up. So that's why that's hood law. That's why y'all got to be careful when y'all speak on somebody's name about something that you perceive or think that you know, or you getting part of the story. You don't know that person's history and that backstory that go with it. So, you know, you got to be careful with that. Like, don't break hood law. Don't break hood law. Idea that behind the scenes, you think I'm living this great life. I'm in foreclosure court on my house. Why? Robert stopped paying child support as a way to punish me. So people think that I'm living this great lavish life, but they don't understand. I've got lawyers going back and forth to court. I'm trying to get him served with an arrest warrant because you're not paying child support, which is criminal by law. I'm dealing with all of this, and people just think, oh, well, you know, she wants to come forward now because them checks stopped. The checks been stopped, boo. The checks have been over for a very long time. That has nothing to do with it. I don't give no fuck what you think about him personally, because we're not talking about that. But what we are talking about, him as a writer, performer, artist, producer, people that he has brought their careers back to life. We talking about from the eyes, he's revamping, bringing back Mr. Biggs and Charlie Wilson, like we gonna be Uncle Charlie, and working on that album from Kelly Price to Michael Jackson, Madonna, Whitney Houston. This goes on and on and on. The man is undeniable. But at the end of the day, He had to do all of that with that dark cloud. But what kept him focused and kept him going is, I have to do this for my children to make sure that they are okay. Because he could have just went under a rock and hid and shit been in shambles and we be the fuck everywhere. But that didn't happen. So at the end of the day, I love him for that. I will always respect him for that. And he did it with grace.
For the rest of the world, this is a very difficult, unpleasant scandal. No other way to put it. For you two, this must be pretty unbearable. You know, you are so closely aligned as a family to R. Kelly. How are you dealing with all this furore that's been erupting, particularly since the release of this film?
We're dealing with it as best as possible, you know. I don't think that people have a clear understanding that we're dealing with two people here. There's R. Kelly, the persona, and then there's Robert, the person. Myself and my daughter, we're connected to Robert, the person. So it is very personal, him being my ex-husband and the father of my children. So it's difficult, but I think that it is needed. It's saving lives, it's changing lives, and we stand in the gap.
Andrea, how would you describe, as someone who was married to him for, what, for 13 years, was it? How would you describe Robert,
Yes.
the person?
Well, in the beginning, Robert the person, he was funny. He had the best mama jokes ever. We started out as friends, and it evolved into a relationship. He was very broken. He shared intimate secrets with me about being abused as a child, dealing with illiteracy. Domestic violence was commonplace in his home. And the thing that drew us was the fact that my grandfather, who was a Baptist preacher, was the first time I ever saw a man put his hands on a woman. He was abusive to my grandmother. So fast forward, Robert and I are in an abusive relationship. It's not foreign to me. It's what I know. It's what I grew up in. It's what he grew up in. So being able to see the person, Robert, the broken part of him, and then there's this persona who portrays this confident, in control man, which is total opposite of what he is.
How do you feel, though, about the sheer magnitude of allegations, particularly involving very young girls in some cases, which have now bedeviled him? I know he's not been convicted of any criminal offence as yet, although it would appear that that may be coming sooner rather than later in terms of at least criminal charges. But how do you, you portray him in a very sympathetic light there, almost willing us to feel sorry for him in a way for the abuse he suffered or whatever.
Yeah.
But he seems to have perpetrated, I mean, there's so many allegations now. He seems to have perpetrated so much misery onto so many young women and young girls. How do you feel about that, and can you defend any of that?
Well, first, I'd like to say there's a difference between portraying sympathy, which I do not portray. I portray understanding because I know him in such a way because I was married to him. I'm a firm believer that just because you grew up in a household where abuse was prevalent and you were abused, it does not give you a free pass to be an abuser. So I want to make that very clear. It's devastating and it's hard because I wear two hats. I sit here as not only a survivor, but also the mother of his children. So it's very difficult for me, but I also know my position, and I know that coming forward brings validity to these young women and young girls' stories. And being a mother, I could not say anything after 10 years of my life going by and thinking I've made it out of the storm, and then here come more allegations, and they ring true to my life. And me and these women, we don't know each other. So how could we have the same stories about the same man and not know each other? So again, my story is coming from that of understanding because I know his background, but it also comes from standing as a survivor and an advocate.
And let me just ask you directly, do you believe all these women who've come forward? Do you believe that he is a serial abuser of women?
I believe that he is abusive. I can't confirm or deny these women's stories because, again, I have not lived it personally. All I can say is what rings true to my life. Every experience is different. I wasn't there when it happened to some of these women, but what I can say, what rings true to my life is what I can speak on. I don't know the other women's background, so I don't know if they grew up in a household where domestic violence and abuse was commonplace as to why they may have ended up or stayed as long as they did, or, I just can't speak to that. I can only speak to my truth, and my truth is what I survived. He was abusive to me, verbally, emotionally, physically, sexually, and as we stand today, he's financially abusing me. He stopped paying child support when I came forward in June of 2018. So,
Happy people, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can only speak to my story and what rings true to what I hear.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
let's bring in.
I feel that something has to be done.
Well, you're.
Andrea Kelly.
Andrea Kelly.
Yeah.
That we have to say, ex-wife of R. Kelly. I don't know how long we're going to say that for. Andrea,
Yes, ma'am.
why haven't you changed your last name?
Because I don't have to if I don't want to.
No, I want to know that you call him a monster along with everything else. You know what the public think of him. Why haven't you decided, like, you know what? I need to disattach. I don't need to carry that name anymore.
Because the name doesn't carry the power. Andrea Kelly carries the power. And at the end of the day, I paid for my name in blood, sweat, and tears, literally. People often ask me that, and I ask them, why don't you ask Tina Turner the same thing? And I understand where she came from. When she sat in court and said, you can have everything, but I'm keeping the name, that's because she paid for it in blood, sweat, and tears.
Amen.
Literally.
So does that name help open doors for you too? Being connected to R. Kelly, let's be real now, being connected to R. Kelly, who is international, okay? And you have people who hate him, and you have people who love him.
Exactly. And I wish that people had your kind of insight into that, because just because it opens a door don't mean it don't close them either.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because people think, oh, by me
'Cause it's
having
going
that last
both ways.
name, it's always good. Sometimes having that last name comes with being ridiculed, talked about, put down, shut out. But I understand, if I did not have the last name Kelly, Miss Jones wouldn't be on this radio show today.
Right.
Okay? So you then cannot hold me responsible for that we love as a society. We live in a society where we want to be Instagram famous. We want to be YouTube famous. So now here's somebody with a famous last name who has the ability to use that name to open doors, to save lives. Now you're mad at me. But at the same token, if my name was Jones, you wouldn't be on my Instagram page either.
Go ahead.
Right. So you just said it. People probably didn't hear it. But my question is very simple. People are asking this question. Why are you here right now?
To save lives, to change lives, to inspire women, to let them know that there is light at the end of the tunnel, that you can come out of this thing whole. You know, my mantra is I have cracks, but I'm not broken. He put a couple cracks in me, but he'll never break me. Don't let anything, any man, any woman, any situation in life break you. You're going to have cracks, but you're going to come out of it, and you're going to be stronger and wiser.
Absolutely.
And it's because of your cracks, other people will recognize your cracks as theirs. They're going to gravitate towards you. So I understand that though people don't like the fact that I have kept my last name, sometimes there's women who've been abused whose husband is a lawyer, a doctor, okay? And they feel like he's at this level of prestige. What do I do? Because this is no respecter of woman or man. Men get abused too. You can be rich, you can be poor, you can be educated, you can come from the best home. My grandfather, again, a man of the cloth, is where abuse was introduced into my life. So if I can use this platform, because people love celebrity, whether they like it or not, because you wouldn't be calling in if it wasn't a celebrity on here. Like I said, if it wasn't Miss Jones, nobody'd be calling in. We don't care about that. We can't sensationalize that.
Did you like celebrity too? Did you want to be celebrity too? Did
Oh,
you
I was a celebrity before I met him.
Okay. You were
In my own right.
Okay.
Yeah. See, and that's what people think, that he made my career. I didn't become a dancer because I met Robert. I met Robert because I was a dancer.
Okay.
So I had my own career. I was already doing choreography, videos. So it wasn't like I met him and suddenly, bam. Celebrity has always been a part of my life. My mom worked for GCI, VON, RCA, Sony Records. So I was a venue brat too. Like my mom worked with the Isley Brothers. She worked with Lakeside. So I was always
So
in the
you were
venue
in
scene.
the business.
I was in the business, yeah.
Did you know Aaliyah?
I did not know her personally. I just knew her as an artist.
You just knew her as an artist. So
Yeah.
did she ever come to your home? Did you ever see her in the studio?
Oh, no. That was before my time. At that time, I was just his dancer.
Okay.
So we had no personal relationship. Again, at that time, he was just my boss. So I'm living in my own house. He lives in his own house. I got a fiance. He has his world. But to go to that, people ask me a lot of questions about Aaliyah, and I will tell you this, and I will say this to the end. She is not here to confirm nor deny any of the allegations, rumors, whatever people want to call it. And I'm going to respect the legacy of the woman that I know of her. I can't speak on her life. I can't speak to what her experience was with Robert. She's the only one who can really give an account of what that was. But I feel like when she's ready to talk, she would have done it. If her family's ready to talk, they will do it. So stop asking me.
Amen.
So you said that I'm not going to throw him under the bus. I'm not going to say his name. Your manager now was a manager to R. Kelly. And after watching that Surviving R. Kelly and hearing the managers and the bodyguards and everybody else that was working around him, seeing what was going on, and they didn't say anything. I really would like to ask your manager now, you know, did you see anything and why didn't you say something?
No, that's why he left. Because
Okay.
he was like, when it get crazy, when I see something that don't look right, I'm out.
But then if he saw it, okay, you gonna come to the microphone? Oh, he ain't gonna come to the
Oh,
microphone.
no. So again,
No.
I
If he
can't.
saw it and you a grown man that saw a grown man with young children and not say anything, what does that say about that person?
What I think that we have to be careful, though, because again, we're not trying to throw Eric on the bus.
I didn't say his damn name. You did.
I'm not saying
okay.
that, you know, this is something that you saw. I don't care if it's from being controlling. I don't care if it's the way you handle your money. Whatever he felt that was not in alignment with what he feels is professional as a manager, it could have been that he wasn't paying the man.
Right.
I don't know what that is. But at the end of the day, if it's not right for me, walk away. Kudos to him. Now, the ones who wanted to turn a blind eye and keep going, those are the ones you see in the documentary, too.
And I have to say something. Psychologists have said a lot of men he was around how old then?
He was 27, so I don't know, like, the timeline that
Okay.
you're specifically asking me from when the management changed and when he started.
20s is 20s when
Yeah, it
all
had
this
to be in his
craziness started.
20s, yeah.
So I think when I look at R. Kelly, they said the man's frontal lobe does not develop until he's about 25, some 32. For you knowing him, was he in right frame of mind? Was he a mature 20-something-year-old person to you?
I wouldn't say mature. I would say controlling.
Uh-huh.
But I would say a lost. Because,
Okay.
again, we're dealing with someone who deals with illiteracy,
Okay.
not being able to read. Something as simple as, if I was lost, could I look at this street sign and tell somebody I'm on the cross street of whatever and whatever?
Right.
You don't have the ability to do that.
Right.
So you're dealing with a lost individual. You're dealing with an individual who grew up in a household where abuse was normal. So, again, to measure him against what's the norm, I think that you can't even do that for a person that is dealing with molestation as a child, growing up in a house with abuse, being illiterate. There's so many things already stacked against you that you're not going to be in the quote-unquote norm.
Do you feel a little sorry for him a little bit?
I used to.
Okay.
I used to. But again, I grew up in a house seeing that. We all have a choice.
Yeah.
Once you've been through abuse, you have to make a conscious choice that I will not be the person who's going to abuse someone because I know that pain personally.
Right.
I choose to be that person. Now, if that's not what he chooses, again, that's between you, God, karma, and the grave.
Were you married to him when that sex tape came out?
We were actually in the middle of a divorce.
So when you saw it,
First, I did not see it.
Oh, you never
Will
saw it?
Never see it. Don't ever
pull
want
it
to
up
see
for
no
me.
mess
Pull
like
it up,
that.
y'all.
I saw it.
We're gonna look at it together.
Never. Oh, hell no, we not.
Let me ask you, why wouldn't you look at that to see for yourself?
No,
was
no,
that
no.
him?
First of all, it's gruesome enough to hear it. So why would I want to see it?
Right.
To
Because
verify that
I
that
don't
was
need
him.
to verify no mess like that.
Okay.
I saw it.
Okay. And that was him? Oh, you
And,
won't.
let me say this. I can honestly say this.
Okay.
It looked just like him.
Okay.
I've never been in the man's house. I don't know him personally. I can tell you this, though.
What?
When I was on a radio, Drea, his brother did call me. Carrie did call me and say to me that Rob and his lawyer, they want me to say that was me in the video.
I have heard
That's what he
that
told
too.
me personally. But
I have heard that.
Well, I'm going to look at the video now. I want to see for myself.
I think it'd be considered child pornography at this moment if you look at it.
So,
Well, they did say that, and they said anyone that had it, please know what you have in your possession.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. But again, people ask me that, and they're like, oh, why didn't you? First of all, and no disrespect, this is where I stand. don't question the fact that I didn't see it.
Right.
Question why you actively went out to see something like that.
Right.
I don't want to see that. Never have, never will. So question yourself why you went and looked for it and watched it.
How
That's
long?
all I
How
say.
long have you been divorced?
Ooh, going on. Oh my God, here over 10 years.
So 10 years. So let me sit back on this one, Jim. Please tell me why you're in the car singing "Happy People."
Oh gosh, yeah.
No,
so
I have to know. I mean that, and this. Can I tell you, I did
Wait,
not
hold
see
on.
that until after surviving R. Kelly. Then I
Exactly.
saw that. And I said,
Exactly.
what the heck is she doing? Why is she in the car saying about my baby daddy and singing the song?
Exactly. I don't give no fuck what you think about him personally, because we not talking about that. Exactly.
Here's the
Oh, wait
audio.
a minute. Here. There you are, girl.
That's me. I don't know why people act like I'm running and hiding and
I know.
said it wasn't me.
Happy people. Come on, baby daddy. Other baby daddy.
All right, that's enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
was
quote
mad
when
as
you
hell.
hear me say other baby daddy. Hey
Other.
Joel, that is Joel P.E. King, my children's godfather, who's in the car with me.
Okay.
Oh,
First
so
of
you're
all.
saying other baby daddy?
You hear me? I say, come on, other baby daddy.
But you're singing his
Again, we
song.
gonna get to that. We gonna get to that.
Okay.
Secondarily to that, whoever did not do their research
Mm-hmm.
and after surviving R. Kelly came out, said that video is damn near 2 years old. First
Mm-hmm.
of all, they actually put that out saying I did that after I did the documentary.
No. I knew that, but
No.
even-
I'm just saying for the public who attacks me on Instagram, they were like, and here you are after you do that documentary, right? You gonna put that out?
But
First of
Andrea-
all, I didn't put it out. That's
Andrea,
number one.
Andrea, even being divorced for 10 years and calling him a monster and the things that were just displayed on television just 2 years ago to be singing his song, I couldn't even believe that you would do a video singing his music. Happy people. Like,
And
what
there
are you
were
saying?
people who watched the documentary and sing his song. It's probably people singing I Believe I Can Fly Today. It's probably people stepping in the name of love at reunions right now as we speak. At the end of the day, people have to understand too, there's only so much of a good thing that I can pull from that marriage. And what that is my children, his musical ability. Even when I did come out, people didn't pay attention. I talked about this when I was on Hollywood Exes. At that point, there was a gag order to a point. You can talk about the abuse. You just can never say it's him. You better make sure you choose wisely. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. So I celebrate that woman on that video because she lived in fear. I always had to put up this front that we're good, we're fine. And I've said this in interviews before. Just because we're divorced doesn't mean we're not family. Because I felt like I was put in a position where I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. Because if I say something bad about him, you're throwing him under the bus. If I say something good about him, oh, you really wasn't abused. But at the end of the day, me singing a song really goes back to the only good thing that I had in that marriage was music and my kids. So me singing Happy People, which people don't see on the video too, was cutting back at people. Don't come on here spewing your hate, spewing, you should have did this, why you didn't come out sooner, you should have said this. Listen, there's no expiration date on my story and no time limit on my healing. So when I'm ready, I had to find my voice. To sit here today and not be that girl in the video, I had to go through the process of becoming strong, finding my voice so I could be a voice for the voiceless, finding my power so I could be power for the powerless, being able to stand in a courtroom and say, you know what, enough. If you cut off child support, of which he has done yet again, because I'm going to tell my story, then I'm willing to face that. So again, people put the video out trying to make me feel shame. I celebrate that girl because that girl was afraid. That girl felt like, well, I better not say too much. I better not make them look too bad. I better tell my story without telling my whole story. But at the end of the day, I really can't say what I want to say, but what I feel.
No, you can say what you want to say.
no,
but
they'll have to
No,
bleep that.
no, Andrea, because I was one of those people that, because even though it was 2 years ago, I just didn't get it. But I heard what you said. And I'm not judging, but it was just my feeling of
Yours and probably a
Yeah.
million other people.
Yeah.
But I get it because you're not on the inside of it, so you don't understand. People just think that's just somebody. I was the mother and the wife.
Oh, idea that behind the scenes, you think I'm living this great life. I'm in foreclosure court on my house. Why? Robert stopped paying child support as a way to punish me. So people think that I'm living this great lavish life, but they don't understand. I've got lawyers going back and forth to court. I'm trying to get him served with an arrest warrant because you're not paying child support, which is criminal by law. I'm dealing with all of this, and people just think, oh, well, you know, she wants to come forward now because them checks stop. The checks been stopped, boo. The checks have been over for a very long time. That has nothing to do with it.
Give no fuck what you think about him personally, because we're not talking about that. But what we are talking about, him as a writer, performer, artist, producer, people that he has brought their careers back to life. We talking about from the eyes, he's revamping, bringing back Mr. Biggs and Charlie Wilson, like we gonna be Uncle Charlie, and working on that album from Kelly Price to Michael Jackson, Madonna, Whitney Houston.